Hi guys, Tiffany here. Welcome to my Quilting Life Insomniac series, episode 42. So if you're new to my channel and you're curious about the Insomniac series, it's a series of videos that come on anytime after 10 p.m. my time here in Arizona when everybody else in the world cannot sleep. The only reason why I chose 10 p.m. after 10 p.m. is because technically a lot of people go to sleep at 10 p.m. I've realized that over the years. So I don't go to sleep at 10 p.m. I don't think anybody regular that knows me or is involved in my life goes to bed at 10 p.m. But 10 p.m. is my insomniac time. So after 10 p.m. and you can't sleep, come on and join me. And don't forget, if you're new to my channel, subscribe that way and like my videos and so on and so forth. So today, if you guys remember the little picture when the video comes up, the rail fence that turned out, it almost looks half and half because the colors, the way I put it together, the colors kind of just radiated through it. I'm going to finish that. And before I even do anything, I need to change my thread color because I was working on something else earlier. And I totally forgot to change my thread out. And if you hear banging in the background, that is because fireworks are going off like crazy. Where in the heck is it? Oh, there it is. Maybe there it is. There it is. There's fireworks going off in the background. I also need to roll myself a bobbin because I do not have a white bobbin ready. I don't think I'm going to need that much bobbin, but hi Kim, hi BJ. So anyway, put your pajamas on. That's what I always say. And join me for some insomniac quilting. When you can't sleep, let's sew. I gotta roll this though. Need a bobbin. Need a bobbin. This machine sounds so much better. It's covered in dust already though. Like I don't know how I can stop the dust at all in this room. This is just a very dusty room because fabric is very dusty to begin with. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to finish the rail fence in a second. I will turn the screen down so that you can see it. It's laying on the floor only because, well, I laid it on the floor so that I can show you guys it laid out so you can remember what I was working on. Give me a second to thread this. The Juki is very simple to thread. Very simple. Well, the actual threading the needle is not simple for me. I really try here. If I can't get it, I use the little threader that was bought for me. But to this day, I still can't figure out that machine threader thing. All right. So let's look down on the floor. Oops, I wasn't doing this foot either. I'm trying to make sure I have nice 1/4 inch seams. We'll change the foot out too. That way I'm consistent through the whole project. These are easy to change out on this machine. So and the reason why I use the screwdrivers, I like to make sure that it's really tight because if it's not, I actually, in the beginning when I first got this machine, didn't used to tie it down, like tighten it down really tight. And I had a foot fall off of me and I'm like, huh, what the heck? How'd that happen? And it just happens because it vibrates. The machine goes so fast, it vibrated itself off and loose. Hi, Terry. All right, so let's turn the camera down. And remember, for those watching that are not used to this, I am in my pajamas. So you probably are too. So there it was, half and half. It looks really cool. I like it. I don't care what anyone says. The way it came out and the colors went through it. So there's 3 rows with the purple, 3 rows with the blue, 3 rows with the green, 3 rows with the orange, and then the stripe goes up there. So there was 3 rows with the stripe. And if you look with the pink, there's 3 rows with the pink. See, so they kind of went all the way through. So that is what I'm going to border. And I totally forgot to put this stand up. My other husband is sitting here on the floor. I'm going to put you guys back because I need to cut some fabric. So my other husband got moved over here because they needed the floor space. So I'm going to put you back here for a second so that I can cut some fabric. I have decided, since I only have 8 strips of this, the the gray with the white polka dot in it, I have decided to go ahead and go with white all the way around the whole thing. Real quick. My room is quite the mess right now because I made a bag earlier for a customer. I'm going to cut 2.5-inch strips, and since this fabric was last cut, it should be nice. So I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to cut 9. We'll make it 10 just because I'm going to cut 10 2.5-inch strips, and we're going to start with that because I'm going to make this longer than it is. I don't like square quilts. Some of you might be with me on that. Some of you don't care if they're square. I don't mind square quilts, but I prefer length because our bodies are not completely square. So when we cover ourselves, it's nice to have a quilt that's as long as our body, but as wide as our body at the same time. So, and our beds are not that way either. Our beds are not completely square except for a regular king. Those are kind of completely square, but not really at the same time. All right, so there's 4. And you'll see why I'm cutting all these. I figured white the best color to blend with all of this. There's 5. All right, let's cut 5 more. Hi, Georgia. And anybody else that is out there probably just not talking. I'm going to show you guys how to create with the leftover fabric and a little bit of border fabric, how to make your quilts longer and longer than they are wide, if that makes any sense. So a typical quilt is 80, like say a queen is like 80 by 98 kind of, you know. That's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for, say, 60 by 82 or, you know, 73 by 89. You know what I mean? We're looking for like an equal amount between the height and the length. I mean, the width and the length. What number was I on? Talking screws me up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be 9. And then 1 more for good measure. Anything left over goes in my scrap bin, so it's no big deal. And 1 more. I'm just going to make a really long strip because I'm not going to measure to size. Most of us probably do, but I don't. All right, so there's 10 white strips, and I'm done with the white from there. What I'm going to do is remove that ruler because I don't need that one now. So I'm going to cut the selvage off of all of these so you guys can see the trick for the stacking thing that I do when I sew a bunch of strips together on the straight line instead of on the 45-degree angle. I almost said 44 for no reason. So I just line all these up so that the selvages meet in the same spot, because you could see coming off the bolt they were pretty separated. So I'm just going to straighten it all up. Hi, Chris. Anyone else here? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to straighten everything up and trim it, and then I'll bring the camera back to the machine because I won't need to cut anything else. Everything else is already cut for me pretty much with my idea of what I'm going to do. And 1 more. So all of my selvages are nicely lined up. grab a ruler, lay it on here, and cut them all exactly the same. Everything's lined up. I'm going to take this over to the machine. Now I'm done with all of this for now. And that. And temporarily, let's bring you guys back over. Everyone's still saying hi. Let's bring you back over here in front of me and show you how this is done. Wiggling, wiggling, and here we go. It's the only way I know how to move the camera. Okay, so everything is stacked. So like I said the other day, I did the, what day did I do it? Sunday. Yeah, I did it Sunday. I did the jelly roll race. I did mine on the diagonal. If you wanted to do the jelly roll race, now this way that I do borders sometimes, I don't always do them this way because sometimes I do measure properly, but a lot of times I just do it this way. But say you want to do the jelly roll race and you have a whole stack, you'll have a big stack, all of the selvages, stack them all up where they're like this. The jelly roll race would go faster. You take that bottom piece, move it out of the way. So your next two pieces that you grab are right sides together. So you would just put the needle down. Oh, I better change the stitch length too because I was sewing a bag. The next two would be right sides together. If this was colors, you guys would see. I'm probably going to have to do another jelly roll race just so that you guys can see how much faster it is with the stack, you know, like that. So the next two are right sides together. The next two are right sides together. Make sure you're not grabbing three and you're only grabbing two. Every once in a while I grab three accidentally, but if you were to do the jelly roll race like this, just like the borders, it's so much faster. I can knock a ton of time off. But I did the 45-degree angle on mine. But this I do for borders and for all sorts of quick sewing. I don't really do this for binding because I don't do straight a grain or straight seam binding, but I have done binding with the straight like this, with the straight seam, because I did a flange binding. I do my flange bindings with straight seams a lot because they're very small pieces. So I'm not going to bother pressing all this. I'm just going to pick up my quilt off the floor, and I don't really care the direction right now. I'm going to choose the top and choose the bottom. So this whole thing should now be right sides together, one big long. I've done this on borders before. I'm going to throw this on the floor next to me, keeping this piece where my seam is facing up so that I know that it's right side down. I'm just going to lay it right here for a second using the machine to hold it. Hi, Linda. And I'm going to grab the quilt off the floor, and I think I'm going to leave it the halfway the way I just showed you. Purple is on one side, where the bright color purple is on one side and the bright orange is on the opposite side. And I'm going to make the top and bottom above it and below it. So we're just going to pick it up right here. And this is how we expand the height of a quilt so that you have a more equal quilt. I'm going to start by sewing this on right sides together on just one side. And then I'm going to do, okay, so I'm just going to do the top and I'm going to do the bottom when I get to it. So you'll see. We're going to do the top first. And if I miss comments, that's just because I'm sewing. I'm going to back stitch right here. I'm going to lay it on here. I'm not going to pull tug or anything like that. Just going to sew it on. And I have a nice, fresh, brand new bobbin that I just rolled at the beginning. So this should go pretty darn quick. How's everybody doing tonight? All you non-sleepers? How many of you are sewing? Sewing along with me. Okay, so I'm coming up right here. When I get this whole bottom, you guys can see the whole bottom is right here on the table. I'm going to fold it up onto itself in half. I'm going to line the edge up, my fold, and I'm going to finger press it. Grab me a pair of scissors. And I'm going to cut on that line. So now it's 100% equal with the end of my top. All right, I'm going to do the same thing now to the bottom. So I've designated this as the top now. So this is the top. Okay, and this will be my bottom. So I'm only doing the two sides with my white strip. So I'm going to line this up right here. I'm going to back stitch. And this time I did not go find the other end like I usually do with borders. I'm just sewing it on. As long as I don't have a seam landing at the end, which is hopefully not. It shouldn't. It's a 57. It was 57 inches. We're going to be changing that when I get the top and bottom on here. So it should be a strip and a half. And I forgot to plug the, oh, I did plug it in. I just need to turn it on. I need the iron on so that I can press this back for the next step. Hi, Sue Ann. Yes, did I? Yes, I did. I did. Did I? No. I didn't get yours yet. No. No, I got Chris's package. I didn't get yours yet, Sue Ann. Does it say it's in? Because I can have Scott go down to the post office. The post office is literally like down the street from our house, so we don't go to it every single day, but he did go pick me up a library book today. I could have had him, it's right next to the library. I could have had him pick me up I had him get me a library book today, so I can have him check the mail when he goes down the line. All right, so again, I'm going to go a little bit higher up. It's on the table. I'm going to fold it on top of itself, rolling the end to the end. I'm going to crease it, slide my scissors in there, and cut on that crease that I just made. And then back stitch. Now my iron should be warm. I'm going to lay this right here. Okay, everybody's just saying hi. Hi, Nicole. New to the comments. Been a subscriber some time now. I finally decided to join the channel. Talk my sewing machine. 4H days. Finally went out. I got a Singer 8860. Well, welcome, Nicole, to my channel. Well, if you've been here already watching, welcome to the chatting part. Hi, Tammy. Yeah, the Insomniac series comes on at night. I'm pretty sure if you've been watching the videos, you know I come on after 10 p.m. It's always random. I do not tell you in the description of the video what it is, but in the, the description of the video, but in the thingy down below the video, the description, what is it called again? Oops, brain fart. Below the video, if you click on the little arrow that says down, everything about my channel is there. All right, anyways, let me take this over and press this back. I'm gonna just turn you guys. I should have put you on the other thing. You guys get a back view. I'm gonna lay this right here. And I know that this is white, but I'm still going to press, I'm just going to still press it towards the white. I don't think it really matters, honestly. I'm going to make sure that seam gets pressed down on its way. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold it back. And the next part is where the fun part begins. So everything's folded back, steam pressed. So now it's already bigger by 2 1/4 inches that way. And it'll be bigger by 2 1/4 inches this way. So again, I'll just warm that seam up. I'll roll it back, using my fingers to push it as I go. And steam it the rest of the way. Okay, so now what I have is a top and a bottom, but I'm not done. We're going to add to that some more. So let's turn the camera back this way. I'm going to sit down so I can explain this a little bit better. Any thoughts of the Beast of the Machine? I don't know nothing about the singers, honestly. Actually, I don't really know much about much machines. There might be somebody else here, though, that knows. Just ask. And later in the comments, if somebody has, what is it again? A Singer 8860, put in the comments anything you know about the machine or any information or, you know, things about it for Nicole. And you can let her know in the comments below after the video is over if you're watching the replay. Hi, Pamela. Okay, so here's how we know this right here. Each of these sections right here, because I'm building on, was 8 1/2 inches, right? So it finished at 8. If I take all my leftover 8 1/2 inch pieces right here and sew them together, I'll be missing some seams, so it should equal each one of these. But instead of turning them, I know I thought about this, putting 2 like this, you know, put 2 stacked this way and then do 4 this way to be the opposite. I decided against that because then I have to trim all these down to 4 1/2 inches. So instead of doing that, actually, I should do that. I think that'll be more funner. That's what I'll do. Yep. Okay. So that's what I'll do. I'll set groups of 4. So I need 1, hold on, 1, 2, 3 for this side, 3 groups of 4 for that side, because I have plenty of extra, so I can sew these together. So 3 groups of 4 for one side and 1, 2, 3 groups of 4 for this side. So I need 3 groups of 4 for each side. So what we're going to do, I'm not even going to use those because those are already cut to size. This is going to be totally different. You guys are going, oh, wait, that's so cool. I'm going to sew 4 of these together. It doesn't matter which 4. I'm just grabbing 4. I should separate my color groups. We're going to have to do this a few times. Let's grab this one. They don't need to be the same as the rest of the quilt either. 4, and I'm not using the gray because the gray is for my next order. So we're going to just sew a couple groups of 4s together. And then these ones I'll sew in groups of 2 to expand this quilt, and it'll look awesome. All right. So this is going to be kind of cool, actually. So I'll get 2 per pretty much, and I'll have a little bit of leftover. So I'm going to sew these together. A little bit of extra work is going to go a long way when I finish. You'll see. plus it gives me no waste. So I'm just going to press them all in one direction with my finger because it really doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what order they're in. Machine quiet running, but the electricity was on. The foot pedal wasn't moving at all. Just as well I'm due for something nice. My first computerized machine. All right, so I'll get 2 cuts from this. So I need 3 for each side. So again, I'll get 2 4.5-inch strips from this. At least I should. Let's go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll get 2, so I need 2 more, or 1 more after this. Sorry, my brain isn't working. I need 6 altogether. And then we'll sew together the sets of 2. So I'm going to be cutting these up. I'll press them before cutting them too because I want them to be nice. So I'll make 1 more strip set after this, and then we'll make, I forgot how many already. 4, 3 of one and 4 of the other, I think it is. 4 sets. And let's make 1 more. So let's use this one, this one, this one, and this one. Having fun with this one. I like when I could just make it up as I go. I know you guys don't like that sound of my fingernail running against the fabric like that. Sometimes it's like a chalkboard scratching sound almost. All right, so I'm going to press these. I'll be right back, 2 seconds, and then I'm going to count while I'm over here how many I need of my sets of 2. Okay, bring this back over so you guys can see there's a couple of those. And now my sets of 2 are going to be, who came in? I saw a name. Did I see another name? I saw Linda. Oh, hi, Teresa. I think that was it. Okay, so there's those. I'm going to trim these down to 4.5 inches. And now I need to count on the quilt. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 2 for one side, and 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 2 for the other. So I need 8 sets of 2 of my 8.5 inch. So I'm done with these for now. Don't need these anymore. Those can go towards the binding or the back of the quilt or something. Now I need sets of 2. So we'll do these 2 together. I need 8 sets of 2. And these are already 8.5, so I don't have to trim these. And I'm going to show you real quick. So when they're pressed open, they should be 4.5 inches. So I'll measure right here, 4.5 inches. So that's what these ones will get trimmed to. I'll get 2 sets of 4.5 inches from this. At least I should. So I'm going to make 8 of those sets. Do this one with this one. And I'm just going to chain piece the rest of these. And this one with this one. Line that up properly. This would be 4. And I'm just going through the whole stack, grabbing one from the last one and one from the newest one. So this would be 5. And then grab the previous and then the next, makes 6. And then grab 2 more for 7 and 8. And then this one makes 7. And 1 more to make 8. We will do this pretty blue with this stripey. Why? Because I can. And then I'll take you guys over to press all these. And then we'll cut. So now I have 8 of these. Let's take all this. I don't care that they're already 8.5 inches now. They're just going to go in my scrap pile because I don't need them anymore. I shouldn't need any more stuff. So I'm going to press all these real quick. And then we'll do some trimming. Hi, Joy. I shouldn't be throwing the quilt like that, huh? I should lay it over the edge nicely. It's not going to stay. All right, so I'm going to roll all these back. It doesn't really matter which color I roll them to because I'm just going to be putting them together in any old willy-nilly fashion. And then we'll trim the other pieces. One more. This is going to be really cool top and bottom to make this a nice equal quilt. All right, so all those are done. Let's come back over here now and trim. Take it down a knot right there so you can see. That's my next border, so I'll move all that out of the way. So now I'm going to turn these into 4.5 inch strips. Hopefully there's enough. If not, I'll make some more because I have plenty to work with. I'm just going to straighten all these up. So it was a little bit cockeyed. Now it's nice and straight. I'm going to come over 4.5. That's not the half. That's the half. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. I don't know. I'm going to get 2 4.5s out of this one. Nope. Not going to happen. Nope. Nope. This one was close. So I have to make another set. Straighten this one up. I just use the line on the ruler. I come as far over as possible so I'm not wasting much, so that I can get as much as I can out of it. I come over to the 4.5. I should get a second one. That's not going to happen either. Why is that not working? Looks like we're going to have to make some more sets, guys. That's okay. We have 3 more. No big deal. I'll just leave the camera where it is though instead of moving it. Otherwise I can just turn into something else. My leftovers. So I need to make 3 more sets out of my junk. So let's choose 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I should have had enough on each of these, but some more and some more. That's, oops, nope, that's 4 right there. Okay. So let me sew these together in sets real quick and then trim them down. I'm just gonna leave the camera right where it is for you guys. This shouldn't take long. Those are already sewn. Table you have with your Juki, or did you buy it separately? It came with. Just like the one for my brother came with it too. Alright, I'm just going to fold this back. Yeah, that was some of the things that I have for my machine I wanted with my machine, so that I made sure to find this the stuff I wanted with it. I wanted a 1/4 inch foot because I'm really sloppy with 1/4 inch seams, like really sloppy with 1/4 inch seams. I really suck with my 1/4 inch seams. So I didn't want to have a guide, but I also like having the other foot. I like the easy that I can unscrew it and get it off easily as, you know, I need. Oops. I wanted the extension table because I was, you know, into the whole free motion quilting thing. I could not find a package though, however, that had like a non-slip thing. But, you know, I never actually had a problem with that one, free motion quilting. So this is pretty slippery, as you can tell. Fabric glides across it pretty good. But some people get this, like, they have this thing that they sell for, you lay it on your table and it covers everything. It's something glide something. But I realized I didn't need it. And let's sew these together. And remember, all the rest of my stuff, everything that's left over, the scraps, I will make something else with or use it as a border. I mean, not border, as a binding. No big deal. Nothing will go to waste at all. And one more for this one. Right sides together, and then I'm going to take it over, press it, and then trim them. Alright, and since you guys can kind of see it, the ironing board area, you can just see me walk over here to do this. All I'm doing is just, since I finger press, they roll back pretty nicely. And I just add a little bit of steam, which I have to add water to have more steam, but I'll do that when I get to the next part, or before I get to the next part. I go through a lot of water in my iron, guys, like a lot of water. So I have a ton of water bottles I keep filled. They have an eye on them for iron, even though it looks like an H. All right, let's bring these over. There's those and those. Again, I'm just going to straighten one edge. I'm going to get this completed tonight, let me tell you. I'm also making sure that all of these are lined up on a line. All right, 4.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the half. That go over there, this can go on that side. Let's make this. Everything's nice and straight. Pull all that away. And one more. Then I should be ready for business. Let's trim all these. 4.5. Okay. Now I'm ready for business. This is how this is going to work. Hoping you guys can see really, really good from there. Let's bring you back up front, up close and personal. Works better that way anyway. All right. So what I'm going to do, let's bring this up here so you can see. So I'm going to find my top. So I know that this last set right here, they go up and down. So I want this piece to go this way. Okay. Then my next one, they go side to side. So I want my sides side to side. But of course, I don't want two same colors matching. I'm just going to mess them up. So I'm going to hook those together. Then the next one will go with this. Then the next one will go up and down, side to side, up and down. So I'm going to lay this here on my lap so I can make sure I'm not overdoing it. So I'm going to start with a side to side because that's the way I need to be. And then up and down, and then a side to side, and then up and down. So just going to finger press. Oh, those two match, so let's grab a different one. Put that there, sure, why not? So I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing 7. It was a 7 by 7. That's why. And I'm just pressing towards the solid piece because that's the way it's going to want to go. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now let's go up and down. So this is 4. So I'm going to press towards this. And we'll grab this. So this will be 5. It's going to be a very unique quilt. But that's the whole point, is having a unique quilt. What am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're at side to side. 6. And one more shall make 7. Let's grab this one because that's darker. That works. And this makes 7. And we're going to do that on the other side too, but first I'm going to go ahead, move all that out of my way, because first things first is this end is the side I started with. This is the side I want it on. And I'm going to make sure that this goes from this end And I'm just going to put it right sides together for now because I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. We're going to make sure that it goes all the way to the other side properly. And it does. Look at that. Perfect on each side. I'm not going to bother pinning. You can if you want when you add on borders, but I'm not going to bother. Just going to line it up in a back stitch. And I'm going to sew it on. And each one of these little sets are going to be right above the opposite direction. So it's actually going to look really cool, which you will see as soon as I get it on here. And I can see right here where this seam would match. See, this nesting seam would match with this seam right here. So I know that they're not getting completely discombobulated and out of order. So every time I go to the next one, I can see that that seam is going to nest with the next one, you know, so you can even hold it or line them up. I don't really care. I'm not going to be worried about that. Just going to hold it in place and sew on down. So the next one would line up with the next one because they're opposite. So it would line up right here. You could fill the seam nest, you know, every time you get to a direction, even though I have a straight border in between the two. Sewing on down. This one's going to line up and nest. And last but not least, the two ends. See that? Match right up. And back stitch. Okay, I'm going to press this towards the white. I know we don't press it that way, but I'm going to press it towards the white. And none of this matches. This is just all out of order. I'm going to press it before going over to the iron so that you guys can see what I have done and what I have created. Just using up the rest of the that was left over to make this longer because I don't like completely square. Personal preference. All right, so there's that added. I'm going to press it real quick and then we'll put the other side together. It lays nicely on the ironing board. And since I finger press, everything should be nicely lined up. Look at that. So good. So there is top one. Hope you can see that. So now we're going to do the same with the other side. Okay. So this time it starts with a side to side, since this is up and down. So I need side to side to start with, then up and down, side to side. And this time I shouldn't run out because there should be 7 left. So we're going to go side to side, hook to 2 and up and down, right sides together. When I make videos like this and show you guys stuff like this, this just shows that you can be creative with the process of putting these things together and change up the look, you know, and nothing has to be the same as somebody else did, you know. So I'm gonna put that one on there. It's 100% unique and different from everything else out there. So nobody will have this same quilt ever. Plus, I find it a little difficult to replicate the same quilt more than once, honestly. Oh, man. Okay, let's do this one. I was going to say those two are the same, but I have 2 more to go. Okay, so that's going to press towards that way. And notice that I'm not pressing all this prior to. We're going to put the blue on this side because it has a blue for this one. So, oh, and those two are the same, but I don't care. Whatever. Oh well. And let's add that. All right. Hi, Joy. Why was Linda timed out?
I guess it's just Ben. Oh man, almighty.
That must have been an accident, Teresa. Ah, hold on. I don't know how Teresa did that. Oh, I can't do it. Never mind. It doesn't let me. What? Teresa, you're blocking Linda on timeout. I don't know how to untime out it. Hopefully it went back to normal. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to come back up here again. Start from the top. Again, this should be opposite. So this one's going this way, this one's going this way. I knew my original idea in my head was going to work out. So I'm going to sew the first couple inches. I know it's going to line up, but I'm still doing it anyway. So I know my seam's there, but I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down and make sure something didn't get out of whack and or the long, you know, messed up. And nope, it matches. So I don't have nothing to worry about. So again, my seam right here, even though I have a straight piece right here, this seam, if it's nesting with this seam right there, like that, I know that my pieces are lining up and they're going to sit exactly above as if it was pieced together, you know, with a gap. So it's sitting really nicely. Everything's nice and flush, which works perfect. So my next one would be the same exact thing. It's sitting nice and flush. I can feel that seam right here. Works perfect. Hold all those things down though while I'm at it. The next one should nest right up, even though there's a seam there. See? So the line's right there. The next one's going to do the same exact thing. It's going to line up right there. Just got to keep adjusting the quilt as I go because I'm not a pinner, so keep lining them up. You can do this with any size add-on border like this. However, which way you want to do it. And we're coming up to the last one where it needs to line up, and it lines up perfectly. Line up the end. Really don't have to play nesting games because it lines right up. All right. Again, going to press it towards the white before I press it with the iron. It wants to lay that way anyway, but when I get to the iron, it makes it so much easier. Oh, I got 29 people hanging out, can't sleep. Fold that back. Fold that back. All right, I'm going to press it. I'll be out of the screen for a second. I like that I chose to do this way. All right, so here's the next one. So you can see it goes all the way across. Now, the next part, making it even longer. Now I'm going to seal it off with white. So I'm going to take the white and I'm going to put it on here. Let's find my end. I'm also going to make sure that I have no seam ending. So I'm going to line this, make sure that I don't have a seam right at the end, which it's like right next to it, but that's okay. It's not exactly at it, so that works perfect. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to back stitch. Now I'm going to add white on the top and bottom, sealing this off. You're like, what the heck are you doing? You'll see. You'll see what I'm doing in just a minute. So the same with everything. Once it's on the table, I'm just going to fold it up. I'm also going to cut away that second part, which is the seam, because I don't like starting on a seam. So I'm just going to cut that off. No big deal. Let's make it nice and straight though. Put that over there. I'm going to press it back towards the white. Be right back. So now we should have something that looks like this. So see, it's sealed in there. Okay, so it's sealed in there. I'm going to do the same now with the bottom. Go ahead and seal that next one in. Cut so much white because there's extra going on. All right, so let's make sure that I have my strip with the right sides down. So my seam that was never pressed is facing up towards me. I'm going to back stitch right here. And sew it on. All the way down. Just going to adjust as I go. Okay, flip it back up onto itself, create myself a crease at the end, make sure it's nice and straight. And now I'm going to press that back and I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Tiffany on, but I fell asleep, so I guess I accidentally hit something on my phone. I just woke up and saw that somehow I did that, so very sorry. It's okay. As long as you unblocked it or whatever. I think it was only hidden on timeout for a few seconds though, so should be fine. I'm just pressing this back real quick. I'll be in the screen to show you what it looks like in just a second. So this is what I have now, all the way across. It is now encased, top and bottom. Now let's run the white down the sides, sealing the whole thing off on both sides. So I'm going to turn it this way. I have white on my end. So I'm going to grab my white. I'm going to make sure my seam is facing up towards me. I'm also going to check before I start sewing to make sure that I don't have a seam landing at the end, because I don't like when that happens. That's right before the end, so I need to lift up a little. I need to come up about 5 inches, which is no big deal because I cut 10 strips to be on the safe side. So I'm going to come up. Let's just come to this fold. That way I don't end with a strip. So I'm just going to use this fold right here to chop that off. Again, this just goes with my scrap stuff. I'm going to back stitch right here. My seam is still facing upward. Yep. Okay. All right. Now let's zoom on down this side. Making sure all my seams stay the way I custom as I sew this on. All right, good night, Teresa. Yeah, it's best not to pass out and hit buttons. It's okay though. You guys don't have to hang out with me. That's what the replays are for. It's nice to have company when I can't sleep. And you can't sleep either. So right now I'm just going down the sides now. And I chose white because there's a lot of white in that quilt top, so it's only fitting. Since I don't have enough gray to, I didn't have enough gray to do top bottom twice, so that's why I decided to go with the white, and then I will put the gray on after this white is done. All right, so almost all the way on here. I'm going to fold it back, make a crease. Make a cut. Back stitch. We're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to flip it, grab the other side. I'm going to do the same thing by making sure a seam is not ending at the end because I don't want that to happen. So let's grab my top. Make sure my seam is facing up. Hold it right there. Run it along the side. Even if it's not laying a certain direction, like not laying tightly, I could still get the general idea of where a seam is going to be and not going to be. So that's perfect. All right, sew this side on. And then all I have to do is add the gray with the white polka dot, which I got to sew together. And I'm going to do the same method that I'm doing now. got a little skinny on my 1/4 inch there. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on if I'm paying attention properly. So, minus that few inches I took off, 10 strips was perfect because, see, that's all I have left. So, I only need 8 now to go the rest of the way around. So let me press this back. I'm just going to do it over at the iron, and then I'll show you what it looks like so far. Before I add the gray, is what I should say. What it looks like before the gray. I'm ironing things crooked because I'm trying to hurry. Not my fault. But I'm pressing towards the white. Normally I wouldn't do that, like I said, but stay. Don't fall. Don't fall. Okay. I can't see comments just yet, but we're going to take you guys up here. You can see me hold this up. So now it's longer. So see how, what a difference the top made, just framing it like that? And I like that I chose up and down instead of all side to side. Here's the other one. And it doesn't have to consistency match with the consistency of the back and forth. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing what I did. So now I'm going to go around it with gray and be done. So let's make some gray border. I'll lay this down real quick on the floor so you guys can see it better all laid out. I'm using my feet because I don't feel like bending over. All right, we're going to shake for a second. So the top and bottom don't match, as you can tell, but it made it taller. So now it's more equal to me. So once I go around the border, the second border with the gray, which is the same gray with white polka dot that I already used, then it will be pretty darn awesome. So let's bring you guys back up here. I got to cut the salvages off real quick of the gray, but other than that, there should be enough strips. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, should be perfect. Let's not cut off. Got to cut the salvages right at the exact edge for this. I want to make sure that I have plenty of fabric. I'm going to back you guys up just a little towards the machine. I'm just cutting the salvages off right now, so give me 2 seconds. You guys probably see me down here at the bottom corner, right here. Just getting the most out of my fabric as possible to make sure that I have plenty to go all the way around. And if I wanted, I could actually add those leftover strips all the way around if I wanted, you know, and scatter them throughout in between all the gray, but I'm just going to go with the gray only and just be done. Why? Because that's what I feel like doing. And I'm going to cut all these off at the same time. So I'm going to be stacking 16 layers of fabric. But since I have a fresh blade, it should cut through all 16 layers. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see right now. Line that up nicely. Let's cut 16 layers of fabric. Bam! Just like that. Cut 16 layers. So what happens when you have a nice fresh new blade. Oh, you even saw that too. Good. So you guys saw me in the bottom corner. All right. Same as I do any. I'm just going to do this all over again. Move that bottom one out of the way. The next two should be right side together. And they should line up as well. But if they don't, you can just use your fingers to line them up. The next two should be right side together. If you need to straighten it, straighten it. I'll get to the comments in a minute between putting this together and then adding it to the quilt top. And this is how I'll be ending it, is with this. I was kind of thinking of going through my stash, seeing if I had something that would like highlight with it as a bigger border all the way around, like say 6 inches, you know. I really don't have anything, because I looked through my stash the other. I have one flower print that might look okay, but this is just a lap, so it's no big deal if I make it bigger or not. Right now it's lap size. That's perfect. So, and I made it longer than it is wide, so, which works for me because that's the way I like it. So now I should have plenty all the way to go all the way around. This is the part where I flip though. I'll start on one end and then flip it to go to the other end. So I'm going to leave this up here. I'm going to read some comments because I've been totally skipping. So I'm going to go back far up. Everyone says hello. Let's see. I'm going to skip past those. All right. I saw where Teresa accidentally knocked that one out. All right. Joy thought she was still shopping. Congratulations. All right. Joy said hi. Thumbs up was a reminder from Pamela. Jill says hi. Sue Ann saying hi. Terry says hi to Jill also. Ron saying hi. I'm obviously, you can see I'm working on episode 41's rail fence. Beautiful. She's finishing her rail fence and has always done good maintenance. Very few cleaning dust. I'm really thankful it lasted this long. Darling colors. What threads does everyone's machine not like? Mine doesn't like Metler. Actually, you know, that's a good question, Tammy. This machine will use any thread. The only thing I haven't used on it is metallic threads. When I say that, let's see if I have any in this drawer. I doubt I have any in here, but I might. I've run all this. These are all different. This is Coats and Clark's. We got Delphis. I mean, some of these are old stuff from Paris threads, you know. Got Coats only. I don't know what this is. I got regular Prim Dritz Corporation from Sewing Goodnight Basket. Some of these I've never even opened yet. When I say metallic, I'm saying, where is it? I know I have a couple of them. You guys probably know, but the beginners probably don't know. We got Superior threads in here. I got all sorts in here. I thought they were in here. It could be in a different drawer. It's really shiny. Excuse me. I had a sneeze. A random one. I get big, huge spools too that are all sorts of brands from everywhere and anywhere and everywhere off the internet. Well, I'm not finding it. Oh, and I haven't done nylon. Here's that nylon stretchy thread stuff. I don't even know if you guys can see this in the camera. See that? It stretches. I've never used this stuff either. I don't know what to even use it for, but I do have it. I'm not sure what to use it for. But I have lots of different ones. I just haven't used sparkly thread yet. I can't see where it is. 100% cottons, 100% polyesters, polyester cotton blends. This machine will do it all. The long arm will do everything too, but it's really picky. Like I can get the tension really, really good on it with some threads, like the glide thread. That I don't even have to mess. The tension is like amazing every time. I don't have to play with it, and I can do a different color on the top than the bottom and have perfect tension. But if I switch to like a different kind of thread, then I really have issues getting the tension to meet up properly with the bobbin and the top thread on the long arm. The Brother, it's okay with some threads, but it doesn't like silky type threads. I know this because I sewed a shirt one day and it does not like to run silky threads through it. So, but this thing will run anything. If I get some metallic thread, I'll run it through just to see, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll run it. This thing will just run whatever. And the funny thing is I don't really have to change the tension often, no matter what different kind of thread, poly wrapped cotton, cotton wrapped cotton, or cotton spun cotton, poly wrapped poly, which would be glide, just 100% cotton and a 100% poly, and or rayon. I've used rayon thread. Trying to think, there's a couple other ones that I've used. I've run them all, and I don't even have to change the tension when I put a different thread in. I just have to thread it differently for the thickness. So this thread is, I think, I don't even think it says, no, there's no thingy. It's probably like 40 weight. No, I think this is thicker than 40. It's probably 30 weight thread here. It's pretty thick. Because my glide is 60. So yeah. If I use glide, I have to go all 3 rounds around the spool and any thinner threads. But the thicker the thread, I only need to go around it once. So this is around twice, if that makes any sense. Let's see, Jill asked, when did I start this quilt? I don't think I remember this on. I think it was episode 41. Did I do it? I did everything in episode 41, I'm pretty sure. Use cotton, depends on the machine. Some are fussy, some aren't. Goodman, Quilts and Clark, and signature on my Vikings. Sorry. Okay, I saw that. Signature is good to sew with. I had some signature in there. Linda was saying it was okay. The older I get, the less I sleep. Sucks, I feel your pain. I like cotton thread. I want to try poly blends like glide. What are your thoughts? I like glide. Personally, I like it for the quilting though, because the sheen, it's very sheen like, but they do have some dull colors that aren't sparkly bright. Say, hey, look at me, I'm thread. They do have some dull colors, but there's like, I got to count real quick in my head. I think there's like 150 different colors. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's like 150 different colors, because my choice when I go to my local quilt shop is like tons. And then they do, glide also has variegated thread, but the variegated is $10 more and it's a smaller spool. So I don't really get that often, but it's nice to have. And one day I'll build my collection. I turned into a night owl since COVID and working from home. My sleep pattern is all messed up. Yeah, it's everybody right now. Holds up well. It doesn't seem to make a lot of lint and works great for garment. Some Coats and Clarks are different though. The one I was getting before I started buying this at Hobby Lobby, was pretty linty, but it's a smaller spool. And that won't run through my long arm. My long arm doesn't, that's the one spool it doesn't like. It's this little spool of cotton Coats and Clark. It's probably meant for piecing, but when I did the quilting from this machine, when this was on a frame, that's what I used. So it's still all out there. I should bring it in, honestly. Poly blend thread. Just know that poly wrapped cotton is really good, and poly wrapped poly is really good. 100% polyester. It doesn't really matter what thread you use to piece, as long as it holds up. And let's see if I can pull some from here real quick. I do the breaking test. How hard do you have to pull? Can you guys see my hands? How hard do you have to pull? Okay, there we go. It finally broke. So how hard do you have to pull for it to break? That's what I care about. To wrap my fingers around it. So, I mean, I really have to pull hard to break it. That's what I look for. If it just breaks like right away, and we're just going to do an example right here. Let's see if this one, I'm just grabbing one from the top. Just pull a little bit from it. This is an older thread. That's pretty strong. But when I broke it, it did shred quite a bit. You know, let's see, here's 100% polyester right here. Polyester is stronger, so let's see how strong this really is. Oh, that one I really had to pull. So, and this one didn't do any unraveling. So this isn't a wrapped, this is just a 100% polyester. It's Talon. I mean, here's a Coats and Clark dual duty plus, dual duty plus. So this is a wrapped thread, most likely. It looks wrapped. Yep, this is cotton covered polyester, so it's cotton over poly. Where's the end? Let's see how well this breaks. Okay, so here's the thread. Cotton wrapped poly. So that one wasn't as much force as the rest. And you can see when it does this like shriveling, that's because it's a wrapped thread. If it doesn't do that, that means it's the 100% stuff and it's not wrapped with anything. But you could see that it really shriveled it up. So that's the test. So this one is probably not a wrapped thread because this one didn't unravel. And this one didn't unravel at all on either end when I broke it because that was the 100% polyester. So just so you know, if it breaks really easily, it's an old thread and or it's a cheap thread. I don't know if I have any that's really, really old. I have some really old spools in a thing, but those are like my collectors. And I'd show you, they do break really easily. So that's how you know. That's the thread thing. If it breaks, then you don't want to use it because it'll break in the machine. The tension will just grab it so perfectly and it'll just rip up everything. Some can be super sharp too and rip your fabric. So you got to be careful with that. Hi, Jim. Okay, Jill remembers this one. Everyone's saying hi, Jim. I think after I'm done with my current quilt, I'm going to try foundation paper piecing for the first time. I know I need to do some foundation paper piecing videos. Show you how to draw your own stuff to make your own foundation paper piecing. Everyone's saying hi. I gotta bless you. Stretchy thread is good for knit garments. Oh, like my stretchy fabric that I have. I still haven't used it yet. I'm not 100% sure how to do garment sewing. I fix things, but I don't actually make 100% things, you know. I use the cotton for piecing, but I do use cotton poly blends. I use cotton for quilting. Yeah, I use whatever I can use. And since Glide is poly wrapped poly, you know, it's shiny. I like the shine look of it. But I also, when I'm quilting, I usually use 10 to 12 stitches per inch. It gives that look, the stitch bigger, so it looks more hand quilted. And the more heavier you quilt, I think, the like tighter the stitch length and the heavier you quilt, the shinier the thread is. I think if you space it out 10 to 12 stitches per inch on a long arm using cotton or using poly, you get that more peaceful look. It looks like from away it doesn't shine too much, but if you put too much thread in one area and over it, definitely shines when using poly, but like I said, Glide does have some colors that aren't very shiny and bright. Tammy ordered some notions and he finally received add a quarter, so now I can start on my butterflies pattern. I have add a quarter rulers. I have a small one and I have a big one, so yeah, I should show you guys how to make something. How did your doctor's appointment go? I will get to that soon because somebody out there is going to want to know besides just you. A bunch of quilts and Clark thread. Someone threw out. I need to check if it's usable. Yes, check. Just take the first, like how I just did right now, a little bit and pull, because if it's really old, it'll break really fast. So, and if it doesn't have any, if it has nothing on it, so you can't tell what it is, the shinier it is, the more you know it's poly. When you break it and you have the little unraveling, you know that it's a wrapped thread. So it could be, this is most likely poly wrapped cotton, and that's why it didn't unravel. Or 100% polyester. Sorry, the other one was the poly wrapped cotton because you saw the little like weird unraveling. So this one's more shinier, and that other one is more dull. You know, see, that's very dull, and that's very shiny. You can see it in the light. Hopefully you guys probably can't tell on camera. So just check them. But this one can tell you because this one still has writing. So if you still have writing on it, then you know what it is. But I've gotten some that they don't have writing on them, and I don't even know what the heck it is. Hi, Mary. All have labels. Okay, that works. All right, let me get this border on, and while I'm sewing, I'll tell you guys what's going on with me. You're not going to like the news. Let's put it that way. I didn't like the news. All right, let's fix my chair. Seems to, the more I move around, the more it gets unadjusted. All right, I'm going to start with the top and bottom, and then I'll do the sides. So, and it fell when I lifted my presser foot. Let's find me an end wherever it went. I'm also going to make sure no seam ends up at the end. All right, so first of all, my nodule is not a nodule anymore. So anybody that's watching this video is where you're going to get the information. My nodule is not a nodule anymore. The medicine is not working for me. I now have a mass in my left lung next to my heart. And it's pushing against my heart, causing me to have a irregular, erratic heartbeat, which is very concerning. There's lots of inflammation inside and out around the whole left lower lobe of my lung. So now I need to go to a surgeon. As soon as they call to set up the appointment, I have to have a referral because of my insurance. Most of you know what that means. So now it is a mass. It is over 3 centimeters big, which is considered a mass, and 3 centimeters is, I don't know if I could tell you from here. 3 centimeters is about here to here to here. It's about 1 1/4, almost 1 1/2 inches. So actually, yeah, it's about 1 1/2 inches. Where's my thingamabobber? I have something that has centimeters on it. Or not. Aha. Please tell me this has centimeters. Aha, right here. So it is 1 inch. It's a little bit over 1 inch. It's almost 1.5 inches big. So it's like that big. Or that big. There we go, right there. So that's how big it is inside of me, in my lung. It's not shrinking, and it's not losing inflammation. It's very inflamed. There's no changes. It's just getting worse. So I got to go to the surgeon. So even though I said to you guys already that I would like to have my lung removed just to get this over with, it's going to happen now. And it's a for sure thing. I'm going to have my lower lobe of my left lung removed. Secondarily to all that, ready for some more? I have a pit in my hip. If you guys don't know what that is, it is an indentation of okay, so I don't know how to explain this. Valley fever goes to the bones. It goes to the muscles. It goes to the joints. It goes anywhere and everywhere in your body. It can go to your liver, your kidneys, your bladder. It can go to your brain. It can go to your spine. It causes meningitis. It can kill you. It is very, very horrible disease. Well, I have a pit in my hip. My right hip has like that big of a divot that sticks in. Like, I don't have no butt cheek. It's on the side and it sinks in. So instead of having a round butt on the side, now I have this flat indentation that sticks in like this. So instead of having a round butt, it's now indentated in. It's a pit. It's circular. It's very hard. It does not move. It's literally suctioning in. I don't know how the doctor had to like explain it. It's like pushing it. So he had to do an x-ray of my hip. Before I can have a PET scan, I had to have an x-ray, an MRI, or else my insurance will not cover the PET scan to see if it has spread to my hip, because I'm having horrible, horrible, horrible pain. And it's not very mobile, but as long as I keep doing my pool exercises, he said I should be good. But he's pretty sure that the valley fever has spread, or disseminated is what it's called, to my hips. So the one is mostly because it's already pitted in, and it's found commonly in it. So again, medicine's not working. I'm not getting better. I'm actually getting worse. So sorry to disappoint you guys, but sooner or later, you will know, because I'll keep you updated. Sooner or later, you probably won't see me for a while because I'll have to have surgery. And if anybody out there that follows me has had lung removed or lung transplant or anything related to the lungs of being chopped and cut, then you know it's a long process. I'll be in the hospital for 10 to 15 days. It depends on how my body reacts. There'll be lots of physical therapy. I probably won't be able to be around this because they're going to tell me no, they want me to breathe clean, fresh air. So it'll be mask wearing if I want to sew kind of thing. It's going to be hard. And if I can't update you, my family will. I'll just let you know that. I haven't actually showed every single family member how to go live from my phone to tell you guys any kind of news and keep you updated when this does happen. It should happen soon though, because the surgeon will be calling me soon. So that's the update. When it comes to the x-ray results, I should have that tomorrow. And no, because if there's inflammation around it, that's how they'll know that they need the MRI. Well, they have to have the MRI either way for the PET scan, because my insurance don't pay for PET scans. But the PET scan, it'll highlight like cancer if it's in my bones. So they'll see where it's spread to. So yeah, it's not good news. And all this whole while, MS problems are horrible, very horrible. I constantly am shaking. My legs are shivering constantly. And that my pool therapy helps for the most part, but it's not after about an hour of getting out of the pool, because the pool is like a hot tub. It's nice and warm. I keep it that way purposely. After about an hour of getting out, I want to get back in because I'm already hurting so bad, from stretching the hip, but the doctor says it's good. Keep moving. I got to keep the motion in it, because if it's bad, then they debris it. If it's worse, then I get a hip replacement. If it's spread further than that, then I don't know, because he don't know. I'd have to see a surgeon for that. And he's just the infectious disease doctor. He just knows as far as treating the issue. That's my wonderful news from this week. Isn't it great? Yeah, I was kind of sad when he said, nope, this is not working. Everything that we're doing is not working. All the medicines I'm on are not working. And now instead of having a nodule, I have a mass. And I'm like, oh, and then I was like, because he wasn't in the office. He had the problem with my hip. And he's like, why didn't you bring it up? I said, it's because you weren't in the office. And so finally, and I showed him, he's like, you should have showed me this when you first had the problem, but it's not my fault because I didn't know. I thought it was an MS thing, honestly. So I'm just going to have some weird disfigured body by the time all this is done. So yeah. Anywho, let me read. Let's see. Where we at? Where we at? Right. Okay, there we go. Bunch of coats. I saw that paper piecing. We think about you. I'll have labels. Be careful. I don't have breaks. Okay. Gotta make a dinner for hubby. He's on 15 minutes. Okay, Joy. Darn. Okay, 1 centimeter is about 1/3 of an inch. 1/3 inch. I don't want to mess up my machine. The medicine you're taking caused the mass. No, it's just not working. It's because I have MS. The doctor's pretty sure that's why, because my immune system is not responding to the treatment because it does its own thing with MS. My body doesn't fight infections like normal people. So when I get sick, it takes a lot to get me better. So, you know, that's why I get sick so often, because it takes a lot to make me better. So, yeah, it just grew. It's not changing. It's just changing for the bigger, I guess, not for the better. If that makes any sense. Oh my God, you've been through enough, and now this, yeah. Tiff, can you get off the meds since they don't believe? And there's so many side effects. Yeah, I'm gonna be discussing it with the surgeon, because if they pull the mass out in the lung, then the valley fever, if it's not in my hip, if they don't find it in my hip and the hip is just like a side effect from being on the medicine or something like that, if that makes any sense. If they don't find it in the hip, then pulling out that mass, which is the valley fever growing and inflaming my lung, then once the mass is gone, I shouldn't need medicine. So hopefully the doctor, I'll discuss that with the surgeon and the infectious disease, because they obviously come together for the whole thing. Yeah, it's horrible. The medicine is like, should be live, guys, again. Obviously some of you are still here. I'm gonna flip the camera around now. I only have like a few minutes, so let's hurry up and sew this, because my phone is dead and it's on the charger. I should have had it on the charger the whole time. Okay, can you guys see me? Yeah? Yeah? Making sure. Say you can see me. Let's make sure you can see me. I'm holding my thumb up to make sure my other screen is catching up. Okay, good, it is. Okay, I only have a few minutes because like this is literally at 1%. I hope it doesn't die. I have it on the charger. It's on the charger. Stay on the charger. Here, we're going to keep track of this by just turning the whole screen around. You're going to be on the front facing camera. Come on. Work. Work, work, work. Are you kidding me? It's not going to let me. There we go. Okay, I'm going to finish this quilt top because I don't have much time. Literally, I don't have much time. So valley fever is a fungus. That's where I was. I don't remember exactly. Soil in some parts of the USA. Like I said, in California, Arizona, so on and so forth. In the soil. From like unearthing things type thing. You know, like if you go to a construction site, if it's not watered down properly or something like that, it can put the soil out and you breathe it in the dust and dirt. Dust storms, especially if there hasn't been rain in the area and so on and so forth, which we live in a very dry climate here, so there's not much rain. That screen is just going to be annoying. I could see it. It's dying. If it dies, you guys will know. I'll just go ahead and finish this as is, and you guys will just see a picture of it later in the group. And if you're not in the group, in the description below is the link to join the group. 3 simple little questions and agree to the terms and conditions, and bam, you're in the group. So yeah. All right. Yes, I have a compromised immune system, very compromised. So I'm susceptible to lots and lots of stuff. The phone is just going crazy because it got turned itself off. As long as it stays on the charger, it should be good temporarily. Hopefully. I haven't finger pressed this end yet, so I'm just going to come to it, get it on the table, finger press it. And if I don't press the borders while on the live stream, because I don't know if it's going to die or not, I'll sit in the group. So, resume this time. Sometimes it doesn't let me resume when my phone dies. But this time it did, which was a good thing. All right. My Siri makes OP words. All right, one more side and then I shall be done. So I'm going to flop back to this other side because I know from here I should have an equal ending, not landing on a seam. Okay. Oh, I was really close. I could really cutting it close though. If I would have tried, I probably would have been able to go twice. Oops. All right, let's finish this off. So yeah, just know that I'm sicker. I was probably talking to myself that whole time and didn't even know it. That's why they say it's good to pay attention to your chat. It's also good if I use the front face. Like right now, it's going crazy. So yeah, I have a bunch of problems, but you guys will get updated. As I'm updated, you'll be updated. And then if I can't come on, everyone will let you know. The sucky part is family is not allowed in hospitals right now because of COVID, especially right now in Arizona. So I don't know if I get surgery to remove the mass out of my lung, then I'm not really 100% sure if I'll be able to have family with me. As far as I know, it's a no. So I'll be stuck up there all by my lonesome in the hospital. All right, let's press this back. Fold it on top of itself. I'm going to turn the camera over to the iron and press it, and then you guys can see it because it shall be complete. Yeah, this was definitely not enough. Look at that. Only that much left. So that wasn't enough to do what I wanted originally. Okay. I'm going to turn, press. Just, let's see. Have you sold? I haven't sold any quilts since the last ones that I told you guys I sold. Nothing's sold since then, but I need to sell the rest. So if you guys want quilts, you better get your purchase in now before something happens to me and you don't get it, because Scott and everyone else in my family don't really know how to. I mean, Scott knows how to use the shipping service and stuff. So if you want a quilt, make sure you get it now. That'll be the best bet, is to get it now. There's plenty left. There's one more to add it into a video yet. So just know that when I get a chance, I'll get that stuff done. And instead of folding this up, I'm going to lay it on the floor. It'll be easier. That way you guys can see it better flat on the floor. I'm really doing a crappy job at pressing right now, but I'm just trying to get it done. I don't want this camera to die again. I'm just kind of separating the seam with my hand, pushing it back instead of the other way, just so it can get done. Are you serious? Stupid iron. Not dead yet? Okay, good. I can't see comments either. I'm almost done. We're gonna lay this on the floor. Or I'm gonna lay it on the floor so you guys can see it better. Okay. I'm gonna spread it out on the floor and then you guys can see it. And then I'll measure it real quick too. Ooh, that gray looks really good around it. Obviously, I need to give it a really good press, but we're going to take this off this. It's going to move around for a second, guys. I'm also disconnecting that. Why? Because, hi. There we go. So there it is. It looks really good with the polka dotted border. I'm in the shadow, sorry. I want to make sure that this stays charged. So there's with its encased secondary border. I really like that, even though it doesn't like line up like it's supposed to, like I didn't put the matching sets, you know, in opposite area. Oh, don't die on me, don't die on me. I'm trying to keep my phone charged. All right, guys, so that's it. It's done. I'm gonna turn this around for 2 seconds and say bye. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I would point down to it, but I'm holding the charger and my phone at the same exact time. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed episode 42 of the Insomniac series. And if I didn't get to your questions or whatever, I'm sorry, but this says 0% literally, and I'm holding the phone. So I will see you guys Sunday or the next episode of the Insomniac series. Either way, I will be on again. All right, love you all. Oh, I can't let go. I gotta press X from here. Bye.